All right, I'm gonna get after framing this other side. So these two bays, these two end bays, will get the ceiling like that, kind of the slope ceiling. And where my tool bench is gonna be, it's gonna have a flat ceiling, and then at the very end, I'm going to go around those braces. And the reason I wanna do that is because I'm actually gonna have a work light up top, where these others, I don't think I'm gonna put any lights in there. I don't know, maybe I should. Right now I'm thinking I don't really wanna mess with that. So this ceiling is gonna be flat, it's gonna be the only difference. And I really gotta get moving because my wife said she wants to have my daughter's first birthday out here, and that's in about a week and a half. So I gotta get scooting here. Okay, so I put this extra 2x6 across, the one you just saw me install. I put that in there because this is a little bit more than 10 feet here, so that I'll have that triple 2x8 up there, plus the plywood in between that'll help it keep rigid. And these other ones I think are gonna be just fine. So all of the joists and all the ceiling joists and the insulation and the drywall is gonna be about 2,600 pounds, and that's covering this huge area here. So I think I'm gonna be definitely okay with those doubled up 2x8s. They don't actually span that far. The other thing to remember is when I built these, instead of trying to like stick build it or something, put it on the edge where I would need a footer, I did bring it out so the load points are actually more inside the wall, but it also has that whole wall to sit on, so it's a few feet inside here. The ceiling isn't going to be that heavy anyway. I mean, overall spread out, and plus there's multiple load points everywhere. So we just did not want to excavate. These ceilings, I want them to be flat. So I'm going to take a board from the inside corner. Actually, I'm going to grab my level from right here, stand it up on edge, and come across and hook it into the 2x4. Then I'm going to come over 24 inches, just put a board in between here that'll be level with that one. Do the same thing on the other side, hook a 2x4 in the middle that I can attach to, and just go along and do that all the way across. Same thing as on the other side where I had those 22.5 inch boards that went in the middle to keep it 24 inches on center that I could actually nail into instead of toe nailing. I'll do the same thing along this wall. And all three of these areas, the entryway, this tool area, and then the fireplace area, are all gonna have flat ceilings. And then in the back, I was thinking about making like a little sloped ceiling here at the end, because there'll be a little bit here. I think I'm actually gonna make this square, because square corners are a lot easier for me to finish. So one of the projects I did a while back is converting that pop-up trailer to the flatbed trailer. And I have a camper trailer out back that I completely ripped it down to the frame, and I put some new shackles on there and put some new tires and stuff on it. So that's gonna be one of my new projects. And like an idiot, I forgot that I had a bunch of this wood from last year stacked on it. I don't know how I forgot that. So it's still in really good shape, a little bit discolored. And somehow the boards I have laying around from last year are a lot stronger than the boards I'm buying today. Okay, I have my blocking in place that I'm going to attach the cross members, and we'll see how this works out as far as how big of a box I need to build around those braces. But it actually doesn't look bad right now, so if it actually ends up not looking too bad, I might rip that out and change it, because I thought they were going to be sloped a little bit further. But if it's only going to be, I don't know, just a little bit of a box there, I think I'm gonna do that instead. So how I'm gonna get around these cross members is I'm just gonna put some boards on here, come out about 3.5 inches, and then I'm gonna put a 2x4 on the face. Then that'll give me a 3.5 by 5 little blocks to go around here, and then I should be able to get some insulation and stuff around these. Okay, so what I've done here is I just cut out some 10-inch blocks, and all I did is leave 4 inches out. So what I'm gonna do is line this line up with the edge of the stud. And since I have my straight line on there, I can just line it up, tack it in here on the back, and then that face board is gonna go on the front, and that'll create the box. Okay, I have the little box built. It's missing those pretty well. I'll probably just throw some maybe throw some spray foam insulation around each one of those, and then put my regular bat insulation in. I think this is a lot better than what I was trying to do over there. So this is gonna get ripped out for sure. And I just gotta do this 4 more times. Okay, so there's just a few more things I want to get done with this framing. One of them being putting a tiny little wall on top of that wall there, which will tie that beam. And there's gonna be another beam on top of this little wall here. Usually what you'll do here is you'll take the 2x4s, you'll turn them up on end, and nail 2 2x4s together, put a piece of plywood in the middle. That'll give you a header to sit here. I'm gonna put that big beam across. That's why I just threw this across just to hold the door. I didn't actually build any type of beam because I'm gonna have the beam on top. It's gonna get tied together in the corner, like I said, to that little wall. And then I just have to tie in this corner. What I'm gonna do with the drywall is run these drywall sheets vertical, 4 feet on center. When it's done, it'll be like 10 feet, 11 inches in the middle here. So this little wall here is just gonna be 24 inch on center. The little blocks are only 7 inches long. And after I nail that up there, I'm just gonna take some 2x3s that I have on that old trailer I was talking about out back, that I found some of that wood, and I'm just gonna nail that across, and then that's gonna start my drywall on the end, and then the joist will start catching the drywall after that. I'm gonna build this beam on the ground, but it's gonna be a little bit different because at the end, I want it to tie into the end of that little wall there, just like I did over there. So the beam's gonna come across, and since a lot of this area up here is gonna be open, I'm gonna put a few braces on the back. And then when you come over to this corner, the one side of the beam is gonna be a little bit shorter because I'm gonna nail a 2x8 to the side, and it's gonna nail right into the end of that beam up at the top to keep it from rocking back and forth. Then there'll be like a little piece inside, and then there'll be an outside. There'll be like a little piece that just sets in there that kind of holds the other board out along the edge, and then that's gonna nail into the end. So I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. Okay, and this is the top beam. When you come over to this corner, this is gonna be the part that lays on the outside wall. This is gonna just butt up into that beam. I'm gonna nail this up first. So this will kind of be a backer, and I can toenail into here and make sure this stays in place. This is gonna get nailed in this way and also this way. And then when I come over to the end of that beam that this is gonna set against, I'm gonna nail in this way, and it'll keep everything from moving back and forth. So my wife's grandfather passed away a few years ago, and he left a bunch of his grandsons, a bunch of stuff. And so I was the grandson-in-law. So I kind of got last pick, but there was a lot of cool stuff that he had in there. And one of the things that he had was this crazy C-clamp. And this is not the first time I've used this. So that beam wasn't sitting where I wanted it to go. So I was able just to clamp it in place. And my friend had some garage doors that he was installing. The wood wasn't going on just right. So we used that crazy clamp too to pull it together. So if somebody passes away and everybody's like looking for all the supposed valuable stuff, and you know, my wife's grandparents were wonderful people. They wanted, you know, everybody to have different things that they thought they could use when they passed away. And so even though I kind of got last pick, I found a lot of value in that. So, you know, don't always discount things that don't look expensive, because a lot of the stuff, a lot of these old tools and stuff are really neat, but they're also still really useful. And to tie this beam on the back, I'm just gonna nail some boards on the back and tie it in to the wall there. And that's where I'm gonna tie it into the beam right at the end. Okay, I have everything tied in. Now I'm gonna run a chalk line from the top of that beam over to this beam. I'm gonna be using blue chalk because it's not as permanent. If you saw in one of my other videos, I was explaining the chalk and how some of them will just stick forever, and I don't really want that on my floor. So I'm using the blue so I can clean it up for, you know, any little dust that I get, I can clean up. Okay, the last thing I want to do is get started on these ceiling joists. As I said before, these things are like $43. And I don't think I would change the way that I did this building. I think the only thing that I would change is go and get a bunch of lumber beforehand, because when we decided to do it this way, to spread out, instead of digging a foundation and, you know, having somebody come out and lay block, or trying to dig through this ground for posts to build a pole building, which was ridiculous. Even just the 9 posts that we dug for our porch. I guess the only thing that I'd do different, if I had a crystal ball, is I would go and get a ton of lumber like a year ago for this. But I still think it's gonna turn out the way we want it to turn out. They're just super expensive right now. So I'm gonna put up 5 of them. And what we're doing here, and I'm sorry about the light. I know in the last little bit of filming, the light was probably shutting down the camera. And I'm sorry about that. I've already laid out the wall. My wife and I were out here last night just kind of seeing how this was gonna look. So what I did is pull off from the wall, and then I just did 16 inches on center. So I have my 14.5-inch boards, and what I'm going to do is, like I said, it has the block up there, 14.5-inch board up there. I'm gonna toenail this in to the couple nails into the beam, and then a couple nails into that block up there. Then I'm gonna put another block on the other side, and then ceiling joist, block, ceiling joist, block. So my layout, I did a pretty good job of cutting these 14.5-inch boards. So now I can just start laying everything out, and it should line up pretty well. So I'm gonna start doing that, and hopefully these lights don't wreck things. I'm just gonna film one side, but just know that everything's symmetrical. I'm doing the same thing to the other side at the same time, but the lights are kind of a killer right now. Okay, I have the laser level set up right in front of that back post there that goes up to the middle of the building. And I guarantee you won't be able to see it. But the laser is vertical with that other vertical T-stripe right in the middle. And it's creating a line on these joists, but I'm just going to put a mark on it, and then I'll cut my 14.5-inch boards and nail them in the middle. Okay, I have my blocking in. The light's kind of distracting. And pretty much everything framed up. And I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with this door. They still haven't come back to fix this. I was in contact with them a couple weeks ago, and they said they were going to schedule and come out and put in a new door. We'll see. So that's all I'm going to tackle in this video. I have to start getting ready for a present I'm going to make for my daughter's first birthday. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.